Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque, and welcome back to Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we were raising some nobility, well, one in particular. Inkfeather, a member of 7th Clan who we have been trying to track down for many moons now. We finally found and managed to elevate her into the status of a noble so that she can be mated to our King Fernstar. So we'll have to see how things go. We have not been able to do any matchmaking between them just yet, so I am very, very curious. But of course, this is going to rely on Flailstorm feeling it better. I think he had, was it heat exhaustion? Something along those lines. Also, one of you lovelies commented saying that I know some of you guys actually like, this comment was from McLeod, but I think some of you do like seeing like me go through the relationship menu. Even if I go through it really quickly, at least you have the option of pausing, because some of you really like looking into the details of, the cats' friendships and rivalries and how things change and romances, all this kind of stuff. So usually I only jump in when there's something like significant for me to show you guys. Otherwise I try and just do a scan on my own and then give you a summary. But I know for some of you guys, you like seeing those details, so I will try my best to go through it with you guys from now on, even if it is like super quick and I'm kind of just scanning. There was another comment that McLeod made. It was within the same one, but like another note they made about Flailstorm, which I thought was very interesting. They said, Flailstorm is such a mixed bag in the eyes of others. Every time I see Kat's relationships with him, they always seem to like him just as much as they dislike him. I imagine his childish nature makes him endearing and a good friend, but also makes him equally annoying at other times. Which, yes, that is also something that I have noticed. Flailstorm, he strikes a chord with many cats, whether that's positive or negative. I feel like he's a very polarizing figure in the clan. So that's an interesting take, that cats have they have a good bond with him, but at times his personality can become a bit overbearing and they find it too childish. So that's kind of what we have been having with our cats. But let's go straight to the leader's den. I am excited to see some progress between Inkfeather and King Fernstar, so fingers crossed we get something. But okay, let's roll the dice to see how King Fernstar is going to handle the next gathering. Okay, got a 7 on the D10, so that's Storm Clan, and I got a 1 on the D8, which is an offend. So let's go ahead, skip a moon. Okay, Royal Clan has no deputy. No, the King's right hand. Okay, the King's right hand is not right-handing. Before the gathering, King Fernstar counsels his clan to begin cutting ties and ending friendships with Storm Clan warriors. The tension hanging over this gathering makes it clear Storm Clan notices. Storm Clan relations have worsened. And I was not expecting it this quick. Inkfeather announced that she is expecting kids. I was thinking more like, I want to try and do some matchmaking between them. They need to spend more time with each other. Oh my goodness. Royal Clan wants to congratulate Inkfeather, but the rising celebration is interrupted by Inkfeather snapping. Completely unprovoked that this pregnancy doesn't make her a wilting flower and she will not be moving her nest. Inkfeather, guys, she knew exactly why she came into the grotto. She has been, I think we talked about this before, but she had been wanting to enter the grotto for a long time. She actually used to live in a barn, and she thought, avoiding two legs, and she thought that clan life would be the way to go, and she wanted to come into the grotto. But when she got here, she was relegated to 7th Clan, which was completely beyond her expectations. That's not how she thought life was going to go, and she was a little bit annoyed, I think, at the grotto cats, at the royal cats for a little bit while they were trying to find her, and very grudgingly she decided to come back in. And I think now that she's found this chance, she is not going to let it slip away from her. Screw building a rapport with the king. Screw, trying to fall in love. Inkfeather is here to stay. And one way, she's the first servant to be raised to nobility. And if she knows anything, it's that if she wants to make a place for herself in the clan, she has to have kids. Because if something happens to the king, should something happen to King Fernstar before she has kids, then she is going to be kind of kicked back into 7th Clan, right? she's going to be reduced to a servant again. His status is going to be taken away from her. So no, she is not doing that. She wants to keep her noble title, and also she wants to keep the title of consort. So Inkfeather, this one's ambitious, but I love it. I love it. It's been a while since I've been pleasantly surprised by a pregnancy announcement. I feel like for the past 2 pregnancies we've had, I've really had to work for it. Fernstar has gotten a white calf. Oh no, the king has white calf. Flailstorm's white calf is gone. I wonder if she spread it to the king. Or if Flailstorm spread it to the king. That'd be funny. Time has taken its toll, and Buttercup Finn has noticed herself slowing down. She has worked tirelessly for many moons, but it is time for her to retire. Okay, so Buttercup Finn, I think, maybe is feeling as though now that the king has a consort, and you know, his attention has like moved in a way to someone else, maybe she can now step down and focus on her relationship in its entirety and not have to juggle this weird tension between King Fernstar, like his affection for her, and Flailstorm. Yeah, and then also Scorchmoss. Like, it's messy. The King's Court is messy right now. Shining Stripe spends the evening regaling the clan with stories of the Great Tail Chaser, the Hare King, and how the tiger got its stripes. Okay, so that's what we have for the main stuff, the big stuff, and that was big news. And I'm so proud of Inkfeather, my goodness, but we need to have some promotions, that means. And Buttercup Finn, she is now one of our elders in the Elders' Den. Okay, but everyone else, aside from the king who has white calf, everyone else seems to be in good spirits to like go out and do stuff. But also the kittens, guys, they're 5 moons. This is going to be the last moon that they stay as kittens. From the next moon, they're going to be becoming apprentices, which means also that the Right Hand and King Fernstar, they are going to be keeping an eye on who might make good potential mentors for Quill Kit and Frost Kit. Okay, going to the Medicine Cat Den. Flailstorm was given Tansy as treatment for white cough, and then he recovered. Scorchmoss could not find any herbs this moon, and I'm just realizing white cough is very dangerous. You can die from it, so hopefully the king is going to be okay. It's funny how that worked out, though. Like, imagine the timing of Inkfeather. He has many lives, though. He's got 7 lives. But because he is a senior at this point, sometimes they can lose all their lives to an incident, so that's kind of scary. But Inkfeather, yeah, she didn't waste time, guys. I admire Inkfeather for this. Honestly, I do. Okay, let's take a look at relationships. King Fernstar is having a wonderful time discussing recent clan news with Scorchmoss. King Fernstar and Shining Stripe spend some time together and nearly forget what made them upset with one another in the first place. When Scorchmoss and Inkfeather realize they've been grooming their pelts the same way, they laugh about it. Scorchmoss snaps at Inkfeather for seeking treatment for something trivial and wasting her time. Scorchmoss, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Inkfeather is pregnant. Maybe Inkfeather went to, like, maybe she was feeling a little bit of discomfort or something, and she went to just, you know, check up with the royal physician to make sure everything was fine. And she's carrying the king's children. Of course she's gonna be worried. Scorchmoss, stop being so snappy. Icicle Speck and Quillkit find out they're both bringing flowers to the same clanmate's grave. Icicle Speck, Flare Freckle, and Bearpelt had a nice talk while eating. Icicle Speck tries to find Quillkit to apologize for something, but finds him playing with a clanmate. Scorchmoss thanked Flailstorm for bringing her food. Flailstorm... Oh, hold on a second, guys. The fact that Flailstorm is still trying to maintain some sort of friendship with Scorchmoss, I think is quite nice of him. Scorchmoss, I feel like, has enough maturity at this point to not feel constantly attacked by her own feelings, the fact that she's in a one-sided love. But I think she would be able to set that aside, but also maintain a friendship with him and appreciate the friendship that he is trying to maintain from his own side. Like, he could easily just wash his paws off her and say, you know, I don't want to interact with you knowing that you're in love with me. And Flailstorm doesn't flirt with her. He's nice to her, but I don't think he ever flirts with her. He keeps a clean line because he's completely in love with Buttercup Finn, of course. But I like that, instead of ignoring her because of potential discomfort, he still gives her some friendly attention. Flailstorm sees Flarefreckle help a clanmate get unstuck from some brambles. Smokewater is starting to have doubts about his feelings for King Fernstar. Smokewater, finally, are you actually thinking about how terribly King Fernstar treats you, and maybe you're gonna wash away all of those, little threads that connect you to him? Honestly, you are living such a good life with, was it Smokewater and, see, this is so bad, not Fernfreckle, oh my goodness, Flarefreckle, yeah. You have such a good thing going on with Flarefreckle, and then you've got your, 2 little sons right now. Your family life is pretty much perfect. King Fernstar is never going to give you the kind of love and affection that you want and deserve, and I feel like it's very unhealthy for you to be, stuck on him. Really. So if you're reflecting on the way you're being treated and you're realizing there's a stark difference between the way your family treats you and the way this king treats you, then yes, please, move on. Now's the time to move on. Smokewater bumps heads with Flailstorm reassuringly. Buttercup Finn is rolling around a little too playfully with Flailstorm. Guys, she is whipped. She is whipped for Flailstorm. I think Buttercup Finn didn't, at first she was interested and curious and fascinated by Flailstorm because it's so similar to her. But I think it's gotten to a point, the more she started falling in love with him, the more I think he's brought out the inner child in Buttercup Finn, the inner kitten that she had, and that's actually really cute. Buttercup Finn chats with Inkfeather while grabbing something to eat. Bearpelt flicked some sand over Shining Stripe's fresh kill while he was eating. Bearpelt, why are you fighting with your brother? Why are you annoying your brother? Why? Why? Is it because of... I hope it's not because of Icicle Spec. Surely not. Bearpelt. You need to start worrying about Shade Fleck, After the gathering, Flarefreckle notices that her mother Buttercup Finn is making sure everyone got home. That's really sweet. Bearpelt and King Fernstar, have a long discussion about goals and aspirations and find they don't agree on many things. Okay. Buttercup Finn sees Shade Fleck using a small animal bone to pick food from his teeth. Inkfeather swears that Smokewater stole something from her nest. That's not good when the King's Consort accuses you of something. Oh my goodness. Inkfeather, I wonder if Inkfeather maybe made this accusation. I don't feel like Smokewater would steal, but I wonder if Inkfeather, yes, she's pregnant with the King's kids right now, but what if she's still new to the grotto, so what if she found out or got an inkling that Smokewater, he has had a long history with the king, and he has some residual feelings for the king and stuff, and maybe she's feeling protective of her title, and she's feeling protective of her relationship with King Fernstar, and she doesn't really know Smokewater that well, even though Smokewater, I'm pretty sure, was the one cat that welcomed her when she came in the last episode. But I wonder if she's in protective mode and she's kind of lashing out and accusing Smokewater of stealing something just because she's feeling a bit sensitive right now. Inkfeather got a bunch of cats up for morning stretches. They didn't like it. And let's see, Cool Kit and Scorch Moss reach for the same piece of prey and bicker over it. Scorch Moss gets it. Frost Kit and Flarefreckle enjoy the rain together. Also, mother-son bonding time. That's so cute. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I'm pretty sure we established way back when they were newborns or 1 moon old, that Flarefreckle's favorite child is her oldest son, Quillkit, who looks like her. He's the one that's self-conscious but is more talented. And for Smokewater, his favorite child, his favorite son, is Frostkit, the younger one, who's fearless but is not as talented as his brother and looks like Smokewater. However, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, when it comes to events, I actually see Quillkit spending a lot of time with Smokewater, and I see Frostkit spending more time with Flarefreckle. So they don't spend nearly as much time with their favorites as they do with the other child, which I think is very interesting. But okay, that's what we have for events. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with the cat list. Okay, let's take a look at the cat list, starting off with loyalties, where nothing has changed, so everything is still as it was. But we have had some changes to the King's Court, obviously with the promotions. So Scorchmoss has been promoted to the King's right hand, which I think might be a better working relationship because they are not entangled in any way regarding romance. Flailstorm has been promoted to the Royal Physician, and Icicle Speck has entered the King's Court as the new matchmaker. So that's what we have going on right now, and it is wild that King Fernstar and Inkfeather don't need any matchmaking sessions. They're the only couple we've had to have kittens without any matchmaking sessions, which kind of blows my mind. But I want to quickly scan through the relationships. Actually, let's take a look at Inkfeather and Fernstar's relationship to see if like the pregnancy has changed anything. No, guys, Inkfeather, I have so much respect for her. She's ambitious. Well, you know, she's not ambitious trait-wise, but she knows what she wants, basically. She wants to stay in the grotto, and she's gonna do anything and everything to make sure she does. Like, nothing has changed, I think, in their relationship from the last episode. Or if it has, it's not much. Not in the way that I normally notice things. But my goodness, this is a formal arrangement, basically, for both of them. And its purpose is being fulfilled. So I actually don't know what's going to happen to these two after these kittens are born. They might decide to stop trying altogether. But I don't, the way that Inkfeather's behaving, I don't see her wanting to let go of the title of consort, because that's just one more way that her status is being elevated. Because even as nobility, she is going to be kind of below the other cats, but at least as the king's consort, she has a bit more status than the other royals, even if she is a noble. So I don't know. That's very, very fascinating to me. Or at least the royals will respect her, you know? She's kind of equal to them in a way, and the status of consort is kind of what makes her equal to the other royals. Maybe not above them, but like equal to them. That's so interesting. Okay, let's go ahead, do a quick scan of everyone's relationships to see if anything has changed much. I mean, you guys might notice things that I don't, but I don't pay too much attention to like every little bit of change that happens. My focus is mainly on like red bars, green bars, but largely the romances. So with Fernstar, you can kind of see he has like, he's got 3 bars, or like 2.5 bars with Buttercup Fin, 1 bar with Scorchmoss, a smidge with Smokewater, and 2 with Inkfeather. So clearly, even though Inkfeather has come into the picture as a formal arrangement, Fernstar still has like feelings for Buttercup Fin. He still holds a candle to Buttercup Fin, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And maybe Buttercup Fin was finally getting uncomfortable enough with the constant tension between, you know, King Fernstar herself and Flailstorm that she decided to step down. And then it seems as though Fernstar and Scorchmoss, they're having a little bit of like flirtation, I think. I don't know, could be friendly flirtation, who knows. But I wonder if there's... Oh well, I mean, they had a good time discussing recent clan news, and it was probably them discussing the fact that, you know, his consort is ready to give him kids like so quickly. And I don't know, maybe they had a little bit of like playful sort of banter over there. And that's probably what that is. It's like good chemistry with his new right hand, you know? And Smokewater, honestly, there's like that smidge of lingering romance. I kind of feel as though Fernstar, I mean, he's never really honestly reciprocated Smokewater's feelings, but I think there's a part of Fernstar that kind of likes the attention. And when he, like, when he's not making progress with other cats and the cats he is actually interested in, he makes himself feel better by getting that little bit of attention from Smokewater, but he doesn't ever actually reciprocate, which is not nice. So that's kind of all we have over here. Scorchmoss, meanwhile, is completely in love with Flailstorm. We do know this. Yeah, she doesn't view Fernstar in any way, obviously. She still has that respect for or admiration for Buttercupfin. So nothing has really changed over here. Flailstorm, still in love completely with Buttercupfin, and she's in love with him, which we are aware of. Now he's got a little bit, he's got 2 and a little bit of bars with Scorch Moss. I think that's gone up from beforehand. And it could be all the time that they're spending together. And I don't, like, because he's so in love with Buttercupfin, I don't think I'd interpret that as Flailstorm having wandering eyes. I think it's more that he's spending time with her as a friend, but when he spends time with her, he kind of sees her devotion to him, but also that she never tries to twist it into something else, something to make him feel guilty, and I think he appreciates that and admires that, and that's what it is. Okay, so that's all over here. With Icicle Spec, he still hasn't fallen in love with Shining Stripe. I think he's still very much in exploring mode, but he hasn't been giving too much attention to Bearpelt and Shadefleck either. Like, ever since they became mates, his attention has been on Shining Stripe, which is good. Inkfeather. I mean, Inkfeather's not here to befriend anyone. She's not here to romance anyone. She's just here to stay and have a comfortable life. But also, because she is a loyal cat, I wonder if, despite her feelings, she's going to stay loyal to Fernstar, or if she is going to eventually, like, fall in love with Fernstar. Like, it has to be someone, it might be Fernstar, because she's already kind of tied to him in a lot of ways. And she's loyal to the first cat that kind of showed her any bit of grace. So I don't know. Interesting. But she doesn't have any friends yet. I'm also going to be interested to see, like, who she befriends first. And in case you guys are curious, you know, I only consider, like, when you have green bars, whenever they get a green bar, then I consider them to be friends. Like, I don't care how much platonic like you have, or respect, comfort, trust. If I don't see a green bar, then they don't count as a friend. That's just the way I like to, you know, view things. Otherwise, when you go into, like, the nitty-gritty, it gets, like, way too complicated. So that's just the way that I mark friendships. Bearpelt, like over here, you can see he's friends with his mother and his siblings, which is very good. Now for him, yeah, Bearpelt, I think he made a bit more progress with Shadefleck, but I don't think this has changed from beforehand. And Icicle Spec, he has some lingering still, like, or some lingering romance for Icicle Spec. But Icicle Spec hasn't been giving really him too much attention. They haven't been butting heads anymore, which is how this romance kind of started, or how his attraction started, because they're not fighting over Shadefleck anymore. Icicle Spec is spending time with, you know, his brother Shining Stripe. So there is that. Bearpelt, though, I don't think anything has happened with him and Shadefleck since the last time. Shining Stripe, he is completely in love with Icicle Spec, we know this, and he has not been getting, like, distracted by anyone else. He's, like, faithful to Icicle Spec, he's devoted to Icicle Spec. I think the type of cat he is, maybe he feels as though it's not right to look at another cat in that way when you already have someone that you're interested in or in love with. Like, juggling multiple cats at once is not something that he's into. He is a one cat Tom, you know? Flare Freckle, she's completely in love with Smokewater, and she's got, like, a ton of friends. She's got a ton of friends, which I love for her. But that aside, let's see, I mean, wait, sorry, different cat. No, this is not what I wanted. Yeah, that's it. Flare Freckle, she's actually in a lot of ways like her brother Shining Stripe when it comes to romance. She has never kind of been led astray by anyone. She's never looked at anyone. She was paired up with Smokewater from the moment she became a young adult. And she took a long time to fall in love with him, but she never played around with anyone else. And she's completely in love with Smokewater, utterly devoted to him. Love that. Shadefleck, okay, he was the one that had the split. He's still split between Icicle Spec and Bearpelt. Still split. Oh my goodness. Okay. Smokewater, let's see, yeah, and he's completely in love with Flare Freckle too. But then he, you know, had that he had that trip up, remember, when he fell out of love with Fleur Freckle. That was the trip up in their relationship, but things could have gone downhill, but it just went, like, it improved. They went back a step and they went forward 2 steps. But that Fernstar, his thing with Fernstar, like, Smokewood has been reflecting on this attraction a lot, and I think he realizes quite a lot that Fernstar doesn't treat him well. Maybe this is just him reminiscing about the past. And Buttercup Finn, I mean, he was spending some time with her and he kind of had some admiration for her. Has anything happened recently with them? No, they've been kind of fighting a little bit, I feel like. So they were kind of squabbling a little bit. And actually, their squabbling was happening, I think, because of Fernstar. It's so funny, isn't it? Like, Fernstar is the cat that kind of gave them more interactions or brought them together in a way, because they, I think, were having jealous spats with each other over Fernstar when Buttercup and Fernstar were a thing, or when they were, you know, getting to know each other. But since then, it's almost as though Smokewater and Buttercup Finn have developed like a good rapport with each other, and then Fernstar's been left in the dust. But I don't think anything extra has happened with her. Yeah, I don't think so. Nothing really has happened with her as of late. That's just you know, an old thing that happened between the two of them. And the same thing for Scorchmoss. I think, yeah, nothing really has happened over here that's particularly new. It's just him getting along well with Scorchmoss, I think. Maybe there's like been periods where Smokewater sees these two cats. Sorry, he sees Buttercup Finn and Scorchmoss, and there's like a flicker of admiration in him. But it's nothing serious. I don't really think that. I think Fernstar's been the only cat to really drag his attention away from Fleur Freckle. And that was like an old flame sort of thing. Buttercup Finn, meanwhile, yeah, she's completely kind of, you know, lost all of the romance that she had with Fernstar, and she's completely in love with Flailstorm. I think this half bar that she has is probably just her reminiscing of what they did have together. We know about the whole Scorchmoss thing, and we know about her admiration for Smokewater. There was a period of time, I think, before Flailstorm like made his move, where Buttercup Finn was equally interested in Flailstorm and Smokewater, but then Flailstorm, he kind of turned the tables completely. And then we have Quillkit, the little ones, which obviously aren't going to have much going on for them, and that's kind of all for the relationships. So let's go ahead and actually see what everyone's doing for the day. And the reason why I don't really go through the relationships in this way is because it takes a long time. Like, it makes the videos a lot longer than I typically like to keep it. So I'm experimenting. I mean, what I might do is still kind of scan on my own, give you guys summaries, but then actually like click on Fernstar, for example, and flick through the pages so you guys can pause. So I can still go faster, but you guys can pause if you need to and see everything that you want to see. But then, you know, I'll just point out the main things that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so there is that. Let's see what everyone's doing for the day. Fernstar, King Fernstar, is looking up, watching the clouds roll by. Scorchmoss is checking up on the warriors. Flailstorm wonders if matchmaking is meant to be so draining. It's okay, Flailstorm, you don't have to matchmake anymore. You're the royal physician now. Icicle Speck leaps into a pile of fallen leaves. Inkfeather is craving the taste of mouse. Bepelt is wondering if kitty pet life is really so bad. Shining Stripe wonders how Quillkit is doing. Okay, one of his nephews. Fleur Freckle saw a big scary dog today. Hopefully we don't come across a dog in patrols. Shade Fleck is finding Inkfeather annoying. Really? You're finding the king's consort annoying, you bloodthirsty cat. Smokewater saw some wandering two legs today. Buttercup Finn whines about her nest being too rough. Quillkit wonders what his mother, Fleur Freckle is up to. Frostkid is telling other cats that he is the king's right hand now. Oh, that's so cute. That is so cute. These are the antics we need to remember when they get older. But okay, this also means with the change in our court that Flailstorm and Icicle Spec are not going to be in the running as potential mentors. Yeah, that does mean that. One, I like my apprentices to be warrior apprentices, but also I kind of in my head think that when the cats are a royal physician or when they are a matchmaker, they're relatively new in court and they're still trying to figure themselves out, and probably their workload is different and more than what they had being a warrior. So in order for them to adjust properly, they don't take on the responsibility of looking after apprentices. That's something that the other warriors do, or the king's right hand and king does, because by that point they already know the inner workings of the king's court. They've gotten used to their responsibilities and they can handle the added the added responsibility of having an apprentice. But also, in a lot of ways, because of the type of workload they have, they can have an assistant in the form of an apprentice. So okay, that's the cats. So let's cut the recording and continue with patrols. Okay, time for us to continue with our patrols. We currently have 62.3 prey and we need 29, so no need for us to worry too much about hunting. Let's send out our new royal physician Flailstorm to the forest outside the grotto and see what he gets up to. There's still time left this leaf fall to store away a good harvest of dried but potent daisy leaves, in case royal clan elders need it for their joints or cats need to unexpectedly travel. Proceed. Daisies may seem like part of the everyday carpet of greenery, present everywhere from rocks to fields to nestled at the foot of trees, but that doesn't make their leaves any less useful. So Daisy was gathered, and now we have a patrol of 6. So we have Flare Freckle, Ink Feather, Scorched Moss, Shining Stripe, Bear Pelt, and Shade Fleck. So let's see what they get up to. As the patrol gathers together to train under Scorched Moss's leadership, Ink Feather admits she thinks she had a vision from StarClan last night. Okay, proceed. The patrol talks to her about whether it was a real vision as they train. With Ink Feather, because she's been trying everything in my eyes to stay in the grotto and ensure a good life in the grotto, I wonder whether she really had a vision or she's grasping at even more straws to make her life better. Basically telling the cats that she had a vision from StarClan, and maybe that's a sign that her kittens are going to be very special, that the litter that's about to be born is going to be a very important litter for the future of Royal Clan. They're going to change Royal Clan, stuff like that, because of the way that Ink Feather is going through things very quickly. From having kittens within a moon of being here to showing a little bit of attitude to Smokewater because she was threatened that Smokewater likes King Fernstar, and her relationship of Consort would be destabilized, and then to going on the patrol and saying that she's having a vision potentially about her kits and how special they are. I kind of love Ink Feather. I feel like she's making ripples in the water and I'm here for it. But okay, that's what we managed to get done for our patrols. And guys, that is it for this episode. I think it was quite exciting because of Ink Feather. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And no one actually stood out. Oh, yes, we were also supposed to keep an eye on potential mentors for the kittens. Ink Feather kind of stood out, but she's pregnant, so she is going to be in the nest, and then she is going to be recovering from birth. So if the king does assign one of the kittens to Ink Feather, I don't know. I feel like that is going to be a bit of a disadvantage for a kitten, for whatever apprentice goes with her. But we'll see. I don't know what's on the king's mind right now, but maybe Scorched Moss, as his new right hand, is going to give him some ideas from what she noticed in the patrols, and we'll see what the king decides. But okay, guys, with that said and done, I'm going to leave off. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.